There's only one rule here. Don't ever, under any circumstance, touch the flowers. Wow, these flowers are so cool and white. These ones are pretty too. They have pink and white.
But I want to go this way.
Not a make-believe. Oh my, this is so cool. I like this place. If you're a kid, you should never ever break the rules because the sign says don't touch any plants or even touch water from waterfalls. Wow, look at these cool fish. I've always wanted a fish. See, kids? There's a big one right there. See?
Look at this huge
Oh, these leaves are cool.
But I want to go this way.
Oh my goodness. That is so cool. It's a blue heron.
There's more things.
Some of these leaves are yellow.
Huh?
That is a lot of plants. Okay guys, so we're at a pond. And because we see, oh my goodness, that is the biggest frog I've ever seen in my entire life. He's looking at me. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. That guy is so cool. I wonder what happens if I catch him. Maybe he may hop away. Oh, he hopped away. Wow, these flowers have my color. They're so pink. And these ones are red.
What?
Aren't they pretty? That is so amazing. Oh, these flowers are purple. Wow. Oh, be careful, kids. If these flowers are poisonous, you should never, ever
touched it.
touch plants that are poisonous. And these flowers are pretty.
Remember the one rule, don't touch any flowers.
There's only
Don't do
one
it.
rule here.
Don't do
Don't
it.
ever, under any circumstance, touch the flowers.
Hi kids, did you like that beautiful garden? We had a great time there. The Bible tells us there's a garden even more beautiful than that. God created it specifically for Adam and Eve. It was a real place. It's not an imaginary tale. The Bible is true. And the story of the Garden of Eden is told in the first book of the Bible. That was way back at the beginning of time as we know it. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 8, it says, "Now the Lord God had planted a garden in the east in Eden, and there he put the man that he had formed. And the Lord God made all kinds of trees to grow out of the ground, trees that were pleasing to the eye and good for food. In the middle of the garden there were the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil." The garden was a beautiful place. God made it just for Adam and Eve to enjoy. Everything was perfect. There was no sin. They had a perfect relationship with God. They didn't even know what sin or guilt felt like. The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. Adam and Eve must have been so happy. God gave them only one rule, just one. Do your parents ever tell you something you shouldn't do, but it kind of looks really tempting? Maybe don't eat a cookie before dinner or you don't get dessert, or don't touch something you shouldn't in a store. God didn't have any rules for Adam and Eve except one, just one. It was this. Genesis chapter 2 verse 16 says, "And the Lord God commanded the man, 'You are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. For when you eat of it, you will certainly die.'" Only one rule. That was it. Sounds pretty easy, right? Except, there's always an except. There was something happening behind the scenes. Satan, disguised as a serpent, thought he'd really like to deceive Adam and Eve and ruin every good thing they had. And he did. He tricked Eve into eating the forbidden fruit, and then she shared it with Adam. Oh boy, things did not go well from there on out. In Romans chapter 5, verse 12, it says, "Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin, and so death passed upon all men, for all have sinned." Wow, that was a pretty big punishment, wasn't it? That's what happened, just like God said it would. One man sinned, and from that point on, sin passed upon all men. Even today, we are all stillborn sinners. Now the question might be, why did God allow Adam and Eve to eat the fruit anyway? Why didn't he just keep them from the tree? He could have, right? Well, of course he could have, but he made man in his image. And part of being made in God's image means we have the ability to choose. He could have programmed mankind, but that would have made us unable to truly love. Real love involves real choice. What if everyone was forced to love without choice? What kind of world would that be? God created Adam and Eve with the ability to choose whether they would obey him or love him or not. Just like the garden we visited, it was beautiful. Men and women take care of it so it grows into a beautiful place for everybody to visit. But if people didn't follow the rules, it would become ruined. People could walk on the plants, pick the flowers, catch the fish, catch the frog. If all those things happened, how would it be there for anybody to enjoy? We had a great time at the garden. We saw such beautiful things. Can you imagine what the Garden of Eden must have been like? When God allowed Adam and Eve to sin, he already had a plan, because God knows everything. And because he is a just and fair God, he had to punish Adam and Eve for disobeying. That punishment, like he said, involved dying. From the moment they sinned, things started dying. But he had a plan. His plan was redemption. Redemption means the action of regaining something or clearing a debt. Adam's debt was his sin. Because sin had caused death, he needed to regain life. Redemption is another choice. Because there was now death on the earth, God gave man a choice to live eternally by sending his son Jesus to die on the cross for our sin. Another choice. We can now choose to believe that God sent Jesus to forgive our sin. Amazing. God had a plan all along. His plan is always that we choose to love him. Will you make the right choice? See you next week. Love you all. Bye.